connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
What's going on, sports fans? Welcome to Wednesday Night Live with the Sports Arena. It's your man, Ray Lynn, filling in for Eric Wilson. Let me go ahead and get the crew in here. We got our queen of hoops, 806 Sports, Miss Megan Price, Baltimore everything. And I'm sure he's going to talk to us about those Miami Heat. Mr. John Shear, and all the way from the left coast to west coast, the mouth of the West, Mr. Michael Caratanudo. What's going on, family? Everybody doing?
Doing well. How are y'all?
Hey, I'm just happy to be here.
I'm doing better than Villanova basketball right now.
I bet. So we got a lot of NBA playoff stuff to cover, but let's start here in the NFL. Today, the news dropped that Deebo Samuels is in fact requesting a trade. We got the two Cowboys fans. It's in your conference. Let me start with Mike Caratanudo. Is he going anywhere, or is this just a bunch of empty chatter?
You know, I mean, if for the right price, Raylan, as you know, everybody can go somewhere. You know, if somebody's willing to fess up what the Niners want and pay the man, he'd be going somewhere. But look, I really don't think so. And I get it. We talked about it. I mean, Christian Kirk got that money from Jacksonville, as we know. But for Deebo Samuel, what Kyle Shanahan wants to do in his offense, I mean, and he's been doing it since obviously he was in Washington, and it's just, as Kyle Shanahan has evolved, like, that is the perfect player for his offense. And if you don't think George Kittle stays healthy enough for long enough, then why are you going to get rid of Deebo Samuel? I'm sure contract talks have broken down, but I don't see it, man. I mean, again, if somebody wants to offer up a crazy, crazy price, Raylan, yeah. But look he's not Tyreek Hill. So if you slot him, lastly, I'll say this, right below Tyreek Hill, you're still going probably a first, a second, and a fourth. I mean, for off of what he did last year, that's a steep price to play. I think he's a phenomenal player. I know everybody else in the NFC West would love him out of the West, but I just don't see it happening.
So let's get our other Cowboy fan in here. Megan, talk to me about it. Is this just empty chatter? Is he trying to what do you call it? Increase his value, like, you know, make his value known, show them that other teams are interested in me, or is it really a possibility he may be gone?
I think it is a possibility that he might be gone. And I want to say, I think the Niners need to do whatever it takes to keep him happy. He's very versatile, and I feel like any team that he goes to, I know that he's catering to, or they're catering to him in the Shanahan offense, but I think he could go anywhere and make an impact. I think he's that big of an athlete. I think he's that good. He's more than welcome to come to Dallas. We've had a horrible free agency. He could come over and fill in a few spots over there that we've lost. But, I think that the Niners need to I mean, he took them to the NFC Championship game. Like, this was, why would you let that team disperse? And it's built around this guy. This offense is built around him. It's definitely not built around Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think you have to do whatever you can to keep him happy. I don't think it's just chatter. I think they just probably kind of lowballed him, is my opinion.
So, John, I'm coming over to you, right? I liken this situation to what we saw with Le'Veon Bell, where you had a running back saying, hey, you guys aren't utilizing me like a running back. You're utilizing me like a running back and a receiver with how many touches and how often you're using me in the offense. And that's basically what San Francisco did the second half of the year. And in the playoffs, this guy was receiving, he was running, he was returning kicks. So is Debo crazy to say, hey, you're not utilizing me like just a receiver. You're not going to pay me like it. Is he crazy?
Well, I mean, he would be crazy to ask them to pay him like a running back because running backs don't make as much as receivers. So, I mean, I really wouldn't go that route if I'm him. But to Mike's point, Mike said that the talks broke down. No, they didn't. He didn't want it. The report came out that they didn't happen because Debo wasn't willing to engage in them. They wanted to offer him a deal, and he said, no, I'm good. Like, he's not participating in any deals that they're offering, any talks that they want. I don't know if
it's true or not, but I got wind that they did offer. I mean, it was low key.
No, I'm just saying, whatever they want to talk about, Debo's not willing to listen.
Right, but I'm saying
he just doesn't want to listen.
But I think his agent got wind of what the offer was, and that's why he doesn't want to listen. I'm not saying they had to sit down.
No, I'm saying like
lowballed him. They probably lowballed him.
Any player would say, yeah, okay, let me listen. Like, he just said, I don't want to talk to you. Like, get away from me. I don't want to talk to you. I want out. Like, if a guy's saying that, he's not happy.
He got wind of what the offer was probably going to be, even before a negotiation started. Just because it's an offer, if you're going to try,
do we think this is just money, or do we think this is more about the quarterback situation?
I think this is more. I think that factors into it. I don't think he wants to play with Trey Lance. I also think that before this year, he wasn't being used like he had hoped he would. I mean, Debo really hasn't been Debo until this year. This was really the first year we saw him break out. And he wasn't kind of like Brandon Ayuk hasn't been used as much as you would think they would use him. They did the same thing to Debo his first couple of years, and now they're finally starting to use him. And I think that he's been unhappy for a while because of the lack of usage. And I think that he's just like, okay, like my contract, I'm going to get a lot of money from somebody. It don't matter where I go, and I'm already not happy here. So I think he just. All of it just adds up to him wanting to be out. And I mean, I said it today. I'm just saying, Miami has $20 million in cap space. Give up all your draft picks this year so you don't got to pay for their draft capital, so you don't pay those players. Give up a first and second next year. Cut a couple guys, and bam, you can get Debo, Adam and Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. I'm just saying.
All that to 52nd to Buffalo.
So not only do we want Tyreek Hill out there without somebody to throw him the ball, we want Tyreek, Jalen, and Debo there with nobody to throw them the ball. That's outstanding.
So if you go all in with the guy who had the third most completed passes of 20 or more yards, that was to a, just saying.
So I want to come back.
Random stat.
You say he can't throw. People say he can't throw a deep ball, right? But he third most passes 20 or more yards down the field.
I want to come back to Megan and Mike, because with this information that John just presented, if it's not because when it drops that Debo's demand to be traded, we all instantly think this is a money thing, right? But now when you hear that he walked away from negotiate, like he didn't walk away from negotiations. He never came to negotiations. So now it looks like a thing where it's not money. He just don't want to be there. Does that change your outlook any? I'm coming back to Mike and Megan, because both of your takes were kind of along the lines of, hey, pay the man. If he's not even sitting down at the table to discuss money, does that change your outlook at all?
I'm just saying.
It does.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm just saying from reading between the lines a little, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not saying that because I saw that saying that he wasn't in negotiation. I'm just saying you all know the one thing, your agent's getting on the phone first. It's not like the player marches up to the, he's not going to march into, I mean, I guess he could, but we know you're not marching into John Lynch's office saying, I want to talk contract now. So I'm sure his agent, per him, obviously reached out and said, hey, man, if you're going to use this guy, to John's point, like this, and John, your example, I mean, Raylan was saying like a running back. It's like when Jimmy Graham wanted to re-up with the Saints, he's like, I line up as a receiver 88% of the time. Like, you're going to pay me like a receiver, not a tight end, to grab that money. So along those lines, but I just think that he got wind of the offer. I haven't seen, and look, I mean, if camps just or voluntary stuff just started this week, so I'm not going to say that he doesn't want to play with Trey Lance. I don't know if that's it, because what's the one thing everybody said about the Niners, except for Big Guard there. I'm just saying that I don't look at it like he couldn't play with Trey Lance. And if Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't the quarterback, somebody like Trey Lance, that if he is that guy the Niners think he is, then why would you not want to play with Trey Lance? To me, yeah, everybody saw what Christian Kirk got. I know we kind of laughed at it. The one thing Eric and I said, you can't coach Christian Kirk's 4.4 speed. So it's like, okay, like, you're paying for a guy that had drop issues, but you bring him to Jacksonville and you're trying to load up there. All these receivers see this money, and it's been a very popular opinion today. So to your point, Raylan, the money, I think it's probably 99% about money. And then if they're not sure about quarterback, then maybe that frustrates him 1%. But I'm saying it's the money. Megan might not think the same, but I think it's money.
Talk to me, Megan. You said it did. When I asked the question, you said it does.
Well, and that's kind of why I brought it to the table. Like, if it's a quarterback issue, if he's not wanting to play for that particular quarterback, and they're leaning towards Trey Lance and letting Garoppolo go, or whatever they decide to do with him, I think that changes things drastically. If it's just a money issue, then I think you do whatever you can just to keep him happy. But if it's not a money issue, then whatever the Niners see in Trey Lance, Deebo Samuels does not. And so, I mean, that changes it drastically.
So real quick, we're gonna go around the horn. In the event that he does get traded, right? And we got to think money, we got to think assets, we got to think wherever he decides to go, or whoever decides to trade for him, they gonna pay him the moment he gets there. So I need everybody to give me one ideal landing spot. Try not to be a homer. He ain't going to Dallas. I'm gonna come to John first. He already kind of touched on Miami, John, but not besides being a homer.
Right.
Obviously, he could fit in Miami, but you guys just wouldn't got Tyreek Hill. It's very unlikely.
I think I said this today. I think that Philadelphia is an ideal landing spot. I think that Jalen Hurts. You've seen this with young quarterbacks where you give Josh Allen Stephon Diggs, and Josh Allen goes from 58%, 55%, and not knowing how to throw the football to being an MVP candidate and almost beating the Chiefs 13 seconds away in the playoffs, and would have gone to the AFC Championship and stomped the Bengals. That's what would have happened. So you see what happens with young guys whenever you give them an elite receiver, a really good receiver. I don't think Deebo's elite, but you know what I'm saying? Like, a receiver that can help you evolve. I think Jalen Hurts would be perfect for Jalen Hurts, with him developing still, all these question marks. You give him that, put Smith on the other side. It helps Smith develop because Smith doesn't have to be the number one guy. It opens him up. It opens up Goddard. You know, I think that would be a perfect landing spot if Philly is willing to give up the draft cap and willing to pay him. I think because Jalen Hurts is your guy right now. You can't think, well, Jalen Hurts might not be. Like, right now, you got to have the mindset of this is our guy. If you're going to have Jalen Hurts be your guy, you can't surround him with nothing. Like, you gave him Smith, a rookie last year. You gave him Goddard, who's a pretty good tight end, but he's not elite. The running game, we never know. They have 500 running backs. Like, give him a really, really good receiver or elite based on what you think he is, and watch Jalen Hurts go from here to up here. I'm not saying he's going to be elite, but every quarterback, I think, ideally needs that. Every young quarterback, at least.
Well, we will see how much an elite receiver helps a young quarterback this year with your squad. Tyreek Hill should make a tremendous.
I'm just saying, look at Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying?
I believe you. I believe you. That's what I'm saying. We will also see the same thing with Tua. Talk to me, Megan, an ideal landing spot.
I would say Denver, but the problem there is the cap issues and some of their trade issues that they dealt with in getting Russell Wilson there. So if we don't count cap issues, or if we do count cap issues, I think that he would be a good fit in Baltimore. I think that they have some issues going on right now with A.J. Brown. He unfollowed the team on Twitter. You know, there's some issues over there. And so if you're going to have somebody with some trade value and you're going to have something going on, I think Baltimore might be the spot.
Megan. Who's Deebo Samuel's agent? It's the same agent as A.J. Brown. I'm just throwing that out there. They have the same exact agent.
Did not know. But my problem, I saw Joseph comment about the Jets. My problem about that is if it is the quarterback issue, then why are you going to go play for Zach Wilson? You know, same draft, and they're facing.
I would say this. I mean, I believe that San Francisco doesn't believe in Trey Lance. Because I believe if they did believe in him, we would have saw him last year, right? So maybe Debo saw something that we ain't seen yet. I say that all the time with these players when they're not getting played and people go, oh, they not getting, like, maybe they seeing something in practice that we don't know. So
remember Allen Robinson used to say stuff about Blake Bortles in practices about how awful he was, and then in games about how he'd miss him, and Allen Robinson was just like, damn, man, like, come on. Like, after a while he got frustrated. So eventually these guys, like you said, they see it and they're like, I'm good.
And then Blake Bortles took him to.
Blake Bortles did not take him to. Don't you finish that statement? Don't finish that statement, Mike, because you know that's a lie.
Yes, he did.
Talk to me, Mike.
Talk to me,
Mike. Give me an ideal landing spot.
I mean, in the comments I said the Jets, because the Jets have the trade capital. I think it would be huge there. That would be an awesome landing spot for him. They definitely have the trade capital. And looking at trade capital too, I mean, look, you might need more things, but Ray Lynn, I'm not just saying this to appease you. You're Lions. I mean, they have the first round picks this year. Again, I'm not saying, hey, look, if you demand to be traded, you have a no trade clause. You can shake your head all you want, John. I'm just saying.
The fit isn't there. The fit isn't there.
I would just like to say, to any star players out there, I love my Lions. But this is where careers go to die. You hear me? Like, listen, let me explain something to you. We made Barry Sanders retire early. We made Calvin Johnson retire early. We got Matt Stafford got right out of town and got a ring. Don't come here if you're a star. Listen, what we're going to do, we get ready to go to break shortly. But before we go to break, we're going to get our regular host in here. I think he's going to let me hold it down the rest of the show. But let's get Eric in here and get his opinion on the topic at hand. Eric, we talking Deebo Samuel's demanded a trade. A few different points were brought up. The initial thought by most people is it's the money. John brought up to us that he wouldn't even talk negotiations. So real quick, give me your thoughts. You think he really plan on going somewhere? And if he does, give me an ideal landing situation. Your Eagles were already brought up, sir.
Deebo Samuel. Wow. Good evening, everybody. And Ray Lynn and the crew. Thank y'all for holding it down. Listen, when you are a skilled position player, such as a Deebo Samuel, and you have the ability to call for a certain type of money, especially the money that's being given to wide receivers out there, you truly, in your position, have leverage. And I heard what Mike said, and I think he's just, because Mother's Day is right around the corner, he's just making sure Mama Carrot Noodle gets some love. So, but I just don't think that the Jets are an ideal landing spot. Listen, Larry Lynn, for all your talk about the Detroit Lions and they go careers to die, here's the thing I will say. At least Deebo Samuel knows that if he goes to Detroit, he going to get them touches. He going to be the number one. Now, whether it translates into wins or victories or playoffs, that's another story. But he would be the number one.
Man, listen.
Ideally, here's what I'm going to say. And I can't believe I'm spitting this out my mouth. But if there was ever a moment for Miami to do something right and put him alongside Tyreek Hill, Tua would truly have no excuse whatsoever as to not formally announce his dominance within that division. So I'm going to say Deebo Samuels to the Miami Dolphins, as currently constructed, would be a threat not only to the AFC East.
That'd be so sick.
It would be a threat to the entire AFC, because then Tua, it's truly on your back, because that would mean that, the head coach of the Brian Flores Miami Dolphins team would have no excuse if you have Deebo Samuels on one end and Tyreek Hill on the other.
All right, Eric, we're going to have to coordinate cookouts because you're invited to mine, and obviously I'm invited to yours for mentioning Philly. So we'll just coordinate that after the show.
Can I say one thing in rebuttal?
Please make it quick because we're going to pay some bills and then we're moving on.
He says Tua, and look, Tua got hurt, that's fine. But coming into the combine and the kind of quarterback Josh Allen is, sorry, Tua is not better than Josh Allen. And Eric, you're right. He goes, no, I know you didn't. I'm just saying, if he goes to Miami, I was going to John's point earlier.
Every young quarterback needs
Josh
what
Allen
Stephon did.
Said his thing. Stephon Diggs. And when he had
They
no other
need
receivers,
that.
he just ran through people. He didn't have Ryan Fitzpatrick to bail him out. All I'm saying, Raylan, Jets or Lions, baby. That's where Debo should go. Because if he goes to the Jets,
I don't know why he keep bringing up the Lions. So listen, I know y'all probably tuned in going Sports Arena. We dead smack in the NBA playoffs. These guys are talking football. Stay tuned. After we pay some bills, we're going to talk some NBA playoffs. Sports Arena. On a Wednesday night, welcome back to the Sports Arena. Shout out to Message by Massage CEO and owner Ashley Lyles. We're going to talk some NBA playoffs. Let's get the crew back in here. Megan Price, John Shear, Mike Caratanudo, and the incomparable Eric Wilson. I like that. I think I'm going to make that your tag, the incomparable Eric Wilson. That's what we're going to roll with from now on.
Listen, I liked Underdog, man. When I'm back producing, I like the Underdog tag too. You know, that's from, you know, when we was growing up, that show Underdog. I was like, you know, so
put that on a t-shirt. So let's start in the Eastern Conference, right?
John Shear.
We're going to start in the Eastern Conference. As a matter of fact, John, you muted. John, I'm going to give you your moment, sir, baby, because your boys are up 2-0, and they held Trae Young in check again, and he had 10 turnovers, and Jimmy went off. Talk to us about your Miami Heat, sir.
I tried telling you guys he had 18 points in the first half, Trae Young did, and he had 7 in the second half. This is what Miami does, man. You can have a nice hot start, that's cute. They clamp you down eventually. There's a reason they're top 10 in defense. The Hawks just don't have anything for Miami, and it seems like we're on our way to play the Sixers. Like, that's what it seems like. There's a collision course between me and Eric Wilson. I don't know if that barbecue is going to happen. I'm not sure, but it seems like a collision course because, I mean, not all things are guaranteed as the Phoenix Suns, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
Okay, so let me get you out of there. Okay, so we're going to stay in the Eastern Conference. Do the Hawks have a chance? Let me go around the horn. Miami's up 2-0. They say a series really doesn't start until the road team wins a game. So let's start with Megan Price. Do the Hawks still have a chance in this series? You muted, Megan.
Obviously, Game 3 is going to be this Friday at 7 Eastern. It's going to be an ATL. And like you just said, the series really doesn't start until you get to one of the away games. And I think this game is a big determining factor, but I really feel like Atlanta is outmatched. No, I think they get swept. Honestly, that's just my full-blown opinion. But we shall see come Friday.
Mike Caratanudo is the only other person on this panel who's a fan of a number one seeded team, right? Miami's up 2-0. What can Atlanta do to turn the series around, or can they turn it around?
I mean, look, I don't think they get swept. I'm not with Megan on that. I mean, it comes down to the defensive end. I mean, Jimmy Butler, look, he took over when he had to last night. Eric's heard me call him a diva many times because I think he should have made it work in Philly. Eric knows how I feel about that, but look, he took over when he needed to. I'm not gonna take anything away from Jimmy Butler. He went to the rim, he attacked. Atlanta had no answers for him defensively. And I mean, just watching that game, like I thought, okay, Atlanta can hang, but yeah, I mean, he just said, nope, I'm gonna put my guys on my back and I'm gonna do it. What the like Barkley said to him in the postgame interview, what the best player on the team should do. He's gonna score his points, but. Look, I think Atlanta gets. I mean, they at least get one at home. I mean, I think that if it does go 6, it's because they get these games at home. But they're not gonna. I never picked them to. I'm not crazy, but they're not getting swept though.
So, Eric, the other night when you were hosting, you said basically most of these first round series are boring. They're going to be sweeps or gentlemen sweeps. So far, this series is holding true. Any chance in that changing? Can Ice Trey pull off the unthinkable, or is it a wrap already?
You know, Ray Lynn, I was so hopeful. I really was, because I like this young man. Okay, I like Trae Young. I like what he is. I like his leadership. I like his court vision. I like what the brother does. But, man, truth be told, and I can't believe I'm doing this again tonight here on the Sports Arena. John Scheer, man, I got to give you your flowers. You've been trying to tell us for weeks and months about Miami, but now it's actually coming to fruition. Ray Lynn, to answer your question, I don't see Atlanta turning this around. If they get one game, they will get it on Friday. But after that, it's a wrap.
All right, so let's stay in the Eastern Conference. Looking at the TV right now, Chicago and Milwaukee are in a tight game. Philly and Toronto are in a tight game. Which one of these teams that are down in this series right now? I'm going to start with you, Mike Carasanudo. Between Toronto and Chicago, which team has the better chance at turning that series around?
Oh, man. Oh, wow. That's a good question.
Loaded question.
That's a funny question. That's loaded. I'd go, even though they have no chance, I would say Toronto, but they have no chance. Come on. And like, I'll go with Toronto because look, Chicago keeping the games ugly, Ray Lynn, keeps them in the game. So, I mean, with all they've had to deal with the second half of the season, I mean, look, they did go, I mean, they started to slip in the standings. I get that. But like with the injuries and everything, but Chicago, I mean, if they keep it ugly and somehow keep it close, but I think Milwaukee's too good to let them do that. I think Philly's too good too. But if I had a flip, I would say Toronto. But neither one, because both those teams are just better, flat out better.
I'm coming to you, Queen of Hoops. We got Toronto down 2-0, and they are in a barn burner right now. That game is tied with 26 seconds left, and we got Milwaukee. They look like they're just going to steamroll over Chicago, but that's a close game right now, but it's still early. Either one of those teams got a chance at pulling off the upset or at least making it a series that we can be excited to watch.
I feel like Toronto has the better chance of doing that, and that's based solely on injuries right now. Not that Chicago isn't the better team, because I feel like they're the better team out of all those situations, but they're not fully healthy. They don't have their floor general. So I think that made a huge difference. They look so different when Lonzo Ball is on the court. So for me, I feel like the team that is the most healthy has the best chance to make it an actual series, and I feel like that's Toronto. But I will shout out the Sixers because I felt like they knew in this series that they were going to be down one player when they're in Toronto, right? So I think they adjusted their lineups and their minutes and made sure that they were able to play with him. He's only getting 10, 12 minutes right now. Thibault is, because he's not vaccinated, right? So he goes to Toronto. So you need him not to be a factor while in the games in Philly, because he's definitely not going to be a factor in Toronto.
The Dogs don't like Toronto.
John Scheer, I'm coming to you, sir. We talking Toronto down 0-2. No Thibault, but this game is tied 95-95. Can Toronto? No. As a matter of fact, I want to talk to you. I want to come back to Eric with that. I want to talk to you about Chicago, Milwaukee. What can Chicago do to make this a series, John?
I don't think that they really can do anything. I mean, barring injury, I think injury is the only thing that they can not hope for, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the only thing that's going to give them an opportunity to win, because Milwaukee's just way better, and Chicago is not that team that we saw in the first half of this season. They're just not that team, in my opinion. The falling Chicago is truly what I think that they are. I think they're like, where they're at seeding-wise is what they are, and Milwaukee's a champs, and I just don't think that this series is close. I don't think there's anything they can do barring some injury to Giannis.
So, Eric Wilson, I'm coming to you, sir. You're Philadelphia 76ers, who you have been telling us since January, February timeframe. Book it. They are going to the conference finals. They are up 2-0. They're in a tight game. And the crazy thing is, Harden hasn't even really played well in the playoffs yet. But shout out to Tyrese Maxey. Where did this kid come from, Eric? Have we been missing this all season?
Well, listen, that's myself included, Raylan. I have been sleeping on this young man because we had Seth Curry, we had Andre Drummond, So I wasn't focused on him, and that's my bad. I'll take that one. But first off, shout out to my queen of hoops, Megan Price. I know we don't always see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, Megan, when it's Philly related, but I appreciate you and love you. That's why you got a gold ticket to a cookout, always and forever. You know that. Even when it's the Cowboys, even though I can't stand them. But that's more me and Mike anyhow, because we got a 15-year relationship that goes. But let's get away from that. Let's talk about the fact that in order for Toronto to have any shot in this, we would have to play the rest of our series in Toronto without one of our key people.
By the way, the Sixers just missed the game-winning shot, so they're going to overtime.
I know. Trust me, John. I got it right here, bro. I'm keeping. Yep. When you see me start cheering, you will understand. But I got you. But I appreciate the update. Yep. Worry about next round, my brother, because you and I, we're going to see each other. But getting back to what Raylin is talking about.
Yep.
What I find extremely interesting, Raylin, about this is the fact that Joel Embiid's going to do his thing. As I said Monday night during Eric's rant, shameless plug for myself, Tybal and Maxey are the new tag team. And they've picked up the ball, metaphorically speaking, and they've ran with it. Just because you lose someone, it is true that next man up mentality. Hey, can we talk about Danny Green for a minute? Okay. I understand that this time of year, Danny Green is someone who traditionally is more of a role player, but he's impactful. He's impactful. And like you said, we still ain't seen the best of James Harden. Now, granted, there are so many people out there, and I won't mention any names, who have said James Harden don't want to see Brooklyn. I truly believe this, and I will make another bold statement here, right here tonight on this show, the best show, the Sports Arena, part of the Silent Sports Network family, is simply this. Should we get through Miami? Because I'll be honest, I have some reservations about Miami. Why? Because Jimmy Butler a dog. But see, we know Jimmy Butler because he played with us. And we understand. And I think Embiid got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I say all that to say this. When we get to Miami, that's when you're going to see what the Philadelphia 76ers are capable of. And it's going to go one way or the other. Ain't going to be no in between. It's going to be black or it's going to be white. Either we're going to show up and show out or we're going to get our asses handed to us. It's one or the other. But I guarantee you this. Pay attention to our bench when we play Miami, because that's my difference maker.
So I intentionally saved this one for last. Shameless plug. This is my I told you so moment. Because on Monday Night Show, the entire crew said none of the other series in the Eastern Conference were worth watching except for the 2 versus 7 matchup. Everybody was saying Brooklyn versus Boston. And Ray Lynn said, this series ain't as close as y'all think. Boston is a flat-out better team. And they drug Brooklyn again tonight. And KD went 4 of 17 from the field. And everybody was saying, man, when KD plays good, I said, Kyrie ain't going to play that good every game. And Kyrie didn't play good either. Boston is up 2-0. So let's talk about this series. I'm going to start with you, Mike Caratanudo. Boston is up 2-0. We said that the series don't start until the road team win a game, right? But based on what you've seen through the first 2 games, and Boston just won, and Tatum or Brown didn't go off. It was just a collective effort. Everybody was 18 points, 19 points, 21, right? Can Brooklyn beat this team?
I mean, I think they're, as John was to say, I think Boston has space in their head with that defense, right, Lynn? And I mean, wasn't Brooklyn up by 17? I mean, I thought, man, how can Boston get boat raced at home? And then all, like you just said, slow and steady. They play defense. They come back. Who's hitting? Because Jaylen Brown was the leading scorer tonight, I think, with 23. I think you're right with that. 23-24 he had tonight. So, I mean, I was with you. I picked the Celtics too. I told you guys I had too many sodas the other night, and I accidentally picked them in 5. I meant to go 6. But, hey, either way, I would love to see Brooklyn get swept. That would be phenomenal. Now, do I think that I'm not going to go Eric's bold statement and say that would happen. But no, I don't think Brooklyn comes back from this. I think they can win at home, and even if it goes 7, they're not winning in the Garden. But I just think Boston's too good, and we've talked about that since January 1st. I mean, look, the Boston and the Suns have been the 2 most dominant teams in the league since January 1st, and in the Eastern Conference, I mean, they went from out of the playoffs, and I remember doing the shows before New Year's. I'm looking at Eric like, how is Boston not competing? Playing better. And then all of a sudden, they must have listened to us because They just tore everybody up, and now they're in the playoffs. And, oh, by the way, Raylan, Tatum and Brown can play together. It's funny how that works.
First off, again, shameless plug. When the rest of the world was saying, break it up in Boston, Ray was saying, you don't never trade either one of those guys. They are your future. Wings are the hottest commodity in the league. They're the hardest thing to find, and they got two young studs, and now they are proving me right. Thank you very much, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I'm coming over to you, John Shear. So I'm looking at this box score. The Celtics had 7 players in double figures, 5 of which scored more than 14. That kind of well-rounded play. And again, White didn't even have a great game. He only had 3 points, right? They played 8 players. 7 of them were in double figures. Can Brooklyn do anything with that depth?
Well, first of all, you talked about how Boston drug them. That's a lie. They were up. Brooklyn was up by 10 at the half and up by 5 going into the fourth quarter. Boston
got outscored.
Right, they got outscored big time in the fourth quarter. But the first 3 quarters, Brooklyn led. Like, it's not like they got drug around. They led. It's just Kyrie could not do anything. I don't know why. He goes off for 39 last game. Then he goes off for nothing this game. KD just don't look like the same KD right now.
8 for 30 between those two tonight. 8 for 30.
Yep. But then again, I mean, we talked about Brooklyn before. Is outside of those two, what else is there that's going to put you over the hump? You know, Curry's good. You got plenty of good players, but is it enough? It's kind of like Memphis. Is it enough once you get past the stars? Like, what kind of depth do you have? Because that's what the playoffs are made of, is what does your depth look like? I just don't think Brooklyn has any depth. Clearly, Boston has depth, but Brooklyn just don't have it outside of those two. It's not enough in the playoffs. Outside of and KD hasn't done his thing, and Kyrie didn't do it tonight. And you saw what happens when your stars don't go off.
Interestingly enough, and you're talking about depth, and we look at veterans. I'm looking again at this box score, and I laughed earlier in the season. I said Brooklyn has all the power forwards who were good 7 years ago. No LaMarcus Aldridge not playing. Blake Griffin not playing. They had Millsap early in the season not playing. They went and got all these old guys. You know, we laughed at the Lakers' age. Brooklyn was pretty long in the tooth, right? They're just saved by 2. They have 2 great players. But if they're not playing well, Megan Price, talk to me. Do they need too much from KD and Kyrie to be successful?
No, I think the problem actually boils down to someone who's not actually playing in a uniform and playing. I think it boils down to their head coach. When you see someone who is in the limelight, he's in a press conference, and he looks like a deer in headlights. Like, he looks shocked. Like, he's like, I don't know. The problem is their adjustments. And we say this about Budenholzer a lot of times, and I know you're not on that train, but obviously he did not adjust to them. They do have some decent players on their bench. Patty Mills can score. Dragic has been an impact in the last 2 games. They do have a little bit of bench depth. Their problem is center depth, but I think that's something that's a problem on several teams within the league. So not saying that they're the better team than Boston, but I don't think those players on the floor are really the problem. I think it's the coach. I think Steve Nash is a product of his mentor. And I know you're a D'Antoni fan, but my opinion, in playoffs, you have to play both sides of the court. You can't just be all about offense. You can get those wins in the regular. I mean, but you can get those types of wins during the regular season, and you can get to the playoffs with that. But can you get through the playoffs without defense? I don't think so.
So, Eric,
Yes,
I really thought that Megan was about to serve you up a home run of a segue when she said Brooklyn's problem isn't those guys, it's a guy not on the floor. And I really thought she was going this route. How much could Ben Simmons be helping the team right now?
In the first half.
Okay, but he was defensive. In my opinion, last season he was my defensive player of the year, right?
No. Hold on. I'm
so
just
he
saying,
can make it. That is part of the
agree.
problem.
I'm just saying, at the start of your statement, I thought that's where you were going, and then
Me
Eric was
too.
coming up next. I was like, oh, this is going to be perfect. That was all. So how much could Ben Simmons be helping this team right now, Eric?
It pains me. Truly, it pains me to say this. Ben Simmons could, in fact, be the little bit of glue that holds this team together from a defensive standpoint. When you need someone, and shout out to our graphics designer, Rob, because I was going to use this line exactly here, because when he said it, I was like, that's exactly it. When you know what your job is, when you know what your role is, especially in the NBA, and you are good at it, you are better than most at it, then that should be all you concern yourself with. What was Dennis Rodman's thing? Dennis Rodman was not a point guy. Dennis Rodman was a defender and a rebounder. The man did not care about points. He understood his job. If Ben Simmons was playing right now, at the very least, this would be a 1-1 conversation. But instead, it's not. Now, there are talks that Ben Simmons may come back on Monday. But by that point, it may not be enough. This might be over, especially if Boston goes into the Barclays Center and beats Kyrie and KD and Seth Curry and Drummond and the rest of that crew on their home court. Oh, you walking in and snatching up ankles and taking cookies like that? I'm telling you right now, if Boston goes into Barclay and KD and Kyrie cannot form some type of synchronicity for game 3, it's a wrap, y'all. I'm letting you know right now. And I got a lot of respect for Brooklyn, okay? I want to see Brooklyn do it. I want Brooklyn. Let me be very clear about that. Because since March 10th, there has been a pit in my stomach because Brooklyn came into Philly and served us our asses. We got some get back. I'm going to take care of John Shear in the next round of Miami Heat. I don't want Milwaukee. I want Boston. I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry. I don't want Boston. I want Brooklyn. But the way things are going, it does not look to be that way.
Well, I got some good news and bad news for you. The good news is Philly's probably going to advance, and I think y'all can beat Miami. The bad news is I don't think Brooklyn's going to be there waiting for you. So listen, we're going to go ahead and show some love to our boys over at Say What, Say It Again. When we come back, we talking Western Conference. Jalen Brunson with a 40-piece. Devin Booker's out. Steph Curry looking like Steph Curry, not Splash Brothers triplets. We're going to talk West Coast playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sports Arena. Live on a Wednesday night, we got the whole crew in here. We got Megan, we got John, we got Mike, and we got Eric, along with myself, Ray Lynn. We're going to shift over to the Western Conference. Since we have a fan on the squad, we're going to start with the Phoenix Suns and the New Orleans Pelicans. On this show Monday night, we all said this was a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. Ray Lynn said New Orleans going to win game 2. This is not an I told you so moment. I just thought they could win. But Mike Cartz-Newdor, are you worried at all about your Phoenix Suns? Not only did they lose, right? They gave up the big lead in game 1. And I think that gave New Orleans confidence that they could play with them. They win game 2, and it looks like you guys will be missing Devin Booker for the next 2 games. Talk to me. As a sports analyst and as a fan, sir, can you combine the two?
Philly just walked off with a game-winning 3.
Yes! I just saw that, John. Why you trying to say about yes?
I'm just
do it again.
Thank you. That's 3, baby. That's 3. That's the hat trick. That's it. It comes in 3s.
Joel
Toronto,
Embiid.
I'm sorry.
Embiid knocked down the 3 to win it.
MVP, baby. What I said. MVP.
If he deserved to do it against any team, it was Toronto after they had him leave the arena crying a couple years ago. So talk to me, Mike Cartz-Newdor. We talking Phoenix. We talking New Orleans. We talking Devin Booker hurt.
Look, Devin Booker was on pace for like 55, maybe 50. I mean, he puts up 31 in the first half. But yeah, of course it's tough to lose him. It is playoff time. And, like we're talking about Brooklyn and KD. The one thing the playoffs get, and like I said, Chris Paul is now 1-13 when a certain referee is reffing those games.
I think it's 0-something.
Well, it would be 0-12, but his teams have won 1 game. With Foster there, but look, on the court, they play terrible defense. Monty Williams' press conference, as calm as Monty Williams always is, like you could just see the fuming because, we all watched the game. It looked like not even a varsity high school team, Raylan. It looked like a JV team in transition. Like, this is not the team that play defense for him all year. So look, I look at it like this: like losing Booker for the next 2 games. I mean that's pretty. Even though they haven't fully supported that, but like he's definitely not playing Friday. It's big for New Orleans. And look, I tip my cap. Yeah, Ingram finished with 37, had a hell of a game, but they did shoot 55% from 3. I'm going to go out on a crazy limb and say they don't shoot 55% from 3 again. I don't care if they're going home. No team, and I wouldn't even say it for the Suns, no team shooting back-to-back 55% nights from the three-point line. They pulled away in the end. Look, they earned it. CJ McCollum was on fire. I respect this team and what they've done. And Valanciunas, I nicknamed him Zangief because he totally looks like him from Street Fighter, man, with that beard and the slick back hair. Eric, you know I'm right. That's why you're laughing. No, but
the Russian.
Yeah, Valanciunas. I mean, look, the way he played down low and the fact that I don't understand, like DeAndre Ayton went back to rookie DeAndre Ayton not getting rebounds with 2 hands. Like that I don't understand. But look, hats off. You said they were going to win. Hats off. Yeah, it's a 1-1 series, but I'm going to say they're going to be just fine. These guys are going to step up. I think Crowder's the most PO'd of all because, I mean, you're talking about like what and I'm not saying obviously Crowder's not Durant. I know that, but like just the shooting and how bad he shot like in these first 2 games. He hasn't shot that bad like all year. And they just need to play. They need to play better defense, hands down. And Monty pretty much said that. I mean, he stayed calm, but he's very PO'd. No, man, I'm not. You're mean. You're mean. I try to compliment your Lions, which I fully believe in, and you're mean. Anyway, the Suns are going to win the series. Hats off to New Orleans. They came here and won a game. They're young, but the defense is going to clamp down the next 2.
Megan, I'm coming to you. So in response to they're not going to shoot 55% again, I'm asking you, Megan Price, what do you say to somebody who goes, they needed all of that from Chris Paul to win game 1, and he might not do that again? Talk to me, Megan.
I feel like Charles Barkley had a good take on this. At this age, like we can see Chris Paul take over games like that, but he can't do it back to back. And then on top of that, you lose the best player that's on the court on both teams. He's out of there after the half. And like Mike said, he was on pace to go probably 50, maybe more. I think New Orleans is a lot better than people give them credit for. And while they probably won't shoot 55% from the 3 again, even at home, they might shoot close to that with CJ doing what he's doing. Probably not 55, but maybe they can go 50. Maybe they can catch another win. Do they win the series? No. But you know what? Phoenix is so well. They're supposed to be they're supposed to be the best constructed team in the league, right? Like I feel like Memphis and Phoenix are the best constructed teams. Like they're the deepest in my opinion. And if you cannot beat the Pelicans, who don't get me wrong, no knock to them whatsoever, but I mean they're a 9 seed. If you can't beat the Pelicans within at least 6 games, then there's a huge problem with Booker not being on the court. And it comes to more about the construction of the team compared to how good New Orleans is.
So I'm coming to you, Eric. Was this just a one-off? Is this series still over, or does New Orleans have a legit chance at this?
No, sir, they don't. No. If they get one, it'll be because Phoenix basically just was out of rhythm. And I want to believe. And I like CJ McCollum. Let me flat out. I love that brother. I love who he is as a person, his character, everything about him. It's not enough. It's not enough. And for all the times that, you and Mike have gone back and forth about the Phoenix Suns and how Chris Paul is probably the guy in the NBA who gets the most passes, especially in the playoffs, he gonna get it done. And yeah, there's nothing more that I can say about this. New Orleans, you got in. Congratulations. You're one and done.
So, in one of the most shocking turns of the first round of the playoffs, we all expect no Luka. Dallas is going down 0-2. Jalen Brunson had other plans. He drops 40. Dallas wins the game, and Luka may come back. One, how much pressure is on Utah? Two, how foolish are they looking right now? Talk to me, John Shear.
I mean, This is embarrassing for Utah to lose this game. Like, they should be up 2-0. Luka's out and you can't win both games. Like, this is a gift to you. This should be an easy series win for you. I'm not saying you're not going to win, but once Luka comes back, like, I just don't think that Utah has a chance. So, like, you have to take advantage with him out. And you to lose any games with him out, if you're Utah, I mean, that's a punch to the stomach, man. I don't know who's going to win this because I just don't think much of either team. But I mean, you know how I feel. Like, I think they're fodder for the Suns. But this is pathetic by Utah, man. Right?
So let me get our Queen of Hoops in here, because early in the season when they traded for Spencer Dinwiddie, Megan, you were screaming the loudest that this is a huge move for them, and I admittedly didn't agree. I didn't even see the big deal. In fact, I'm thinking this guy plays with the ball in his hands. He's not going to work next to Luka. But they hit a stride. They get up to a nice season in the playoffs, and now they're playing without their star and they win. If Luka comes back, how you calling the rest of this series?
Oh, the Mavs win. Absolutely. And that's not necessarily indicative to what the Mavs have going on. I think that has more to do with what's going on in Utah and in their locker room. I think it is just abysmal. There's absolutely no reason that they should be dropping any of these games and Luka's not on the court. D. Mitch is the one that kept them in game 1, 32-6-6, much closer game than I even anticipated, 99-93. And then in game 2, 104-110, Mavs come out on top. Where is Gobert? What is he doing? I'm calling him out. I'm not gonna say what I call him because it's not.
Shout out to the chat. Graphics designer, best in the biz, Mr. Rob. He's putting this up, and this is my segue question. I'm coming to you, Mike. The Utah Jazz, since the days of even when Gordon Hayward was there and he left, and now they kind of rebuilt around Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. They are Groundhog Day. They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to be a top 4 seed in the West, and then they get to the playoffs and they just flop out. We've seen stellar performances by Donovan Mitchell when he had to shoot out with Jamal Murray. We've seen this year after year, right? And then they get to the playoffs and it just ain't it. Is it time to break this up?
I mean, look, if now's not the time, when? Because I know reports come out, and I always, I laugh and stuff, but you start hearing more rumblings, and when you're reading beat reporter stuff. I mean, if Donovan Mitchell does not like Rudy Gobert that much, and it's like, yeah, you have a rim protector, but he had 8 points in the other night when Dallas beat him. I mean, yeah, it's. If you don't break it up now, I mean, and usually after 1 year, I can't stand at the end of every year, people are like, oh, you need to do this, break up this team. I mean, you just said it right there. It's been a good enough of a sample to where you can't tell me that it's working, because, again, it's a definition of insanity. Like you said, they win a lot of games. They had the best record in the league in the shortened season last year by 1 game. And then you look at it and, yeah, this year, okay, not the same-ish, but man, if he doesn't like Gobert, you might as well get rid of him. You're not getting rid of Donovan Mitchell, so they need to break it up if they want to have something to do. Because again, this is in the Western Conference, you can't not add. So I think they can get a lot for Gobert. I mean, okay, maybe not crazy a lot. They can get enough to where they'll be fine, but I just think it'd be better for Donovan Mitchell, because I'm going with the high school reports, I guess. He doesn't like him, so I'm sure he probably wiped him from his Twitter and Instagram and all that junk. But you got to break it up if you're Utah.
Okay, so real quick, hey, shout out to, I see y'all in the comments, man. The Sideline Sports family showing support. I see JJ Jenkins. Congratulations. He's going to be a new co-host on the Gauntlet. Y'all check them out on YouTube on Saturdays. I think it's at 8. If I'm not correct, somebody put it in the comments. I see Denzel. I see James Tatum. Y'all in the comments showing love. James Tatum, where's that comment he just made? Eric, I'm putting you on the spot. James Tatum jumped in late. He said, Embiid for the win, baby. He said Embiid for the win.
That's my brother, Philly Jim, all day, every day. He's about the 215 just as much as I am. He's probably more about it than I am, man. But, man, much love to my man, James Tatum. That brother's doing a lot of good work behind the scenes, which I can't even get into right now because he's asked me to keep it on the low. But that brother's got so much going on. Remember the name, Philly Jim, a.k.a. my man, James Tatum, because that's my brother from another mother. I love him. I love him.
Okay, as y'all can see, I was correct down in the comments. 7 p.m. on Saturdays, man. Listen, the Sideline Sports is doing big things. We got
Every
Megan
night
on
of the
Mondays. every night. We got
Every
Megan on
night of the
Mondays
week,
with the
we got a
NBA
different show.
Carousel, Sports Arena. Tuesday night to Sideline Sports, Wednesday night to Sports Arena, Thursday night NBA Carousel, Saturday night is the Gauntlet. I don't know what's Friday night. Christian, the
Play
Pundits
callers.
Pundit.
The Pundits
Say that again?
Pundit is Thursday.
Play callers is Friday with Cool. Cool and
Yes.
Stephen Box.
Yep, play callers. You want the list? Hold on, I'll give you the list real quick, man. Here we go. And,
Give me the
and
list.
just because of my man John Shear, I'm gonna go Sunday to Saturday for John Shear because
Thank
I
you.
typically go
That's
Monday
how
to
weeks
Sunday.
work.
But Sunday night is Basket Bros with your man Jacob Krishner, the Pundits Pundit, Will Vogel's in the building. Monday night, you got the NBA Carousel with our Queen of Hoop, Megan Price. You got Oh What a Show with John Shear, and you got the Sports Arena. Tuesday night, you got the flagship show, Sideline Sports, and you got Cub Fidential. That's right, I said Cub Fidential. Wednesday night, of course, you got the Sports Arena. You got both sides of the coin, and we got a brand new show, all female podcast, 3 chicks in a pod. Thursday night, you got the Pundits Pundit, you got the Sip Off during the NFL season. Shout out to our brother Alex Fleming. It's the Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel Season 3. So make sure you get your popcorn ready for that. Friday night is the Play Callers Real Sports Talk Show with my man Cool McCain and his brother Stephen Box. Saturday night, you got the Gauntlet. And Sunday, like I said, Basket Bros. But that is the full week. Every night of the week, ladies and gentlemen, Sideline Sports. Check them out. And a shout out to our man Jake Malik. I'm going to do his thing one time. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, TikTok. We making YouTube shorts. People, if you don't know Sideline Sports, you're sleeping under a rock. That's all I'm saying.
And there's more coming. We just can't tell you.
Yeah.
Call it what you want to call it. I call it a takeover. Listen, we only got a couple of minutes left. No need in really talking about Golden State versus Denver, besides the fact that Jordan Poole looks really good. But really quick, I want to go around the horn and get everybody's thoughts. They say that, again, series doesn't start till the road team wins a game. Minnesota already took the home court advantage. In 30 seconds or less, Mike Caratanudo, how does this series play out?
I think Memphis wins. I mean, look, it was a great game for Minnesota. I think it woke the young kids up. We always talk about how young players, they don't get the playoffs and they got to learn to win and all that stuff. Teams have done it. Sometimes it's a good thing when they're on runs and they don't think any better. But I just think that Memphis has a little too much. They're well-rounded. They can win without Ja. Yeah, I know it was a regular season, but he's there. They win. Glad for Minnesota, but they're going home.
Muted.
Sorry about that. I'm going to say I feel like the Grizzlies are going to win. I think that Minnesota makes this a series. It's going to go 7 games. They pick up another win. And I'm super impressed with their performance in the game 1. But in game 2, we saw the Grizzly players, 7 players in double digits. I think this goes back to what I was talking about, being a well-constructed team. I don't know if it was nerves in game 1, but the Grizzlies are here, and they're going to make a deep playoff run. Congratulations to Minnesota for making it.
Yeah, Mike's right. They are going home. They're going home to game 3. I don't backtrack on my words. I never do. Eric knows that. I still pick the Timberwolves in 6. I believe that. They have home court advantage, and they're going to end this in game 6. I don't need the 30 seconds. I'm not like Mike. I'm not long-winded. I'm done.
Shots fired.
Yeah, that's what he does. Listen, this is a very difficult matchup and a very good matchup. But unfortunately, I've got to go with Memphis on this one. I just think like Memphis is the team that a lot of people – there's a level of expectation. They're young, they're scrappy, they're hungry, and they're going to get it done.
Well, that was simple enough. I didn't even have time to queue up what I was queuing up. Listen, I think Minnesota is still Minnesota in 6. That's what I called, and that is what I'm sticking with. But we have surprise.
Swung on and into the air to deep left center.
I started the show filling in for Eric Wilson, so I'm going to take over for Eric's rant. As Eric likes to say, he's just a loudmouth with an opinion, as am I. We as fans and media at some point have to stop giving Kevin Durant passes. Kevin Durant has played with elite All-Star, All-NBA, Hall of Fame level, MVP level guard play his entire career. He had Russell Westbrook. He had a young James Harden. Then he went and rode the Golden State's coattails with Steph Curry. Then he had Harden and Kyrie. Now he has Kyrie. And when he doesn't get it done, we as fans and media have to stop. At some point, we just have to say, KD ain't what he thought he was. KD ain't what we thought he was. KD's not that guy like that. Again, 4 for 17 tonight. His team needs him to step up big, and he never does it. Went over to Golden State. Very easy when you playing with a reigning unanimous MVP and a team that won 73 games. Oh, you look real good in the finals. But what does KD does when his team needs him? At some point, we got to stop giving him a pass. He's just not that guy. Eric didn't know that was coming. Listen, for the Sideline Sports, for the Sports Arena, it's your man Ray Lynn. We had the whole crew. We had Megan, we had John, we had Mike. Eric, we signing off. You got anything, boss?
Hey, man, I just much love to everybody. John Scherer, for the first time in our entire life, we're going to meet a week from tonight, my brother, and I am blessed to see you and meet you. We're going to kill it at the 2022 NFL Draft. Much love to everybody who's ridden with us.